So, hello, Mystic Diva here, y'all. We're trying this new little thing on my social media, so I'm starting kind of halfway through here, a little past January 15th. And if you want to see more on my Insta, it's and also my TikTok is at Yeye, the Mystic Diva. So we're going to hone in here, y'all. I have my little notes. We're going to go through this astrology. And it looks like there's some pretty intense things happening, not just worldwide, which also affects the skies, which also affects us. But there's a lot happening. So a lot of planets that are shifting. So we have Mercury from Sagittarius going into Capricorn, the planet of practicality. So Mercury communication is going into the planet of practicality. And we could be a little self-critical, so watch yourself, do your self-care and watch your self-talk, okay? That's really, really important right now because Mercury in Cap can be very effective, very to the point, very logical, little bossy, just saying. And a little stoic. So it's like short but sweet, here we go, taking care of business. But there's also Capricorns are very self-critical, just like Virgo. So those energies and what house that's in is going to sort of dictate how that energy comes out into the world for you. So if you have any questions, holla, and we can look at your chart and do your transits. And then we have Venus going into its exalted placement into Pisces. So we have Venus, this planet of love and money, going into a water house or water placement sign of Pisces. So it's what we call exalted. It's a fancy word. What it means is that it's at home. And it's happy, and it wants to be happy, and it wants to love and spread love and be soft and mushy and all those things. But it also means that money can flow. It also means we might be a little sensitive, just saying, about love issues and be really, really intuitive on what we want in our love life and perhaps in our values. But just kind of watch out for being a little sensitive and listen to your gut. And there's some more about that in a minute. And then we have... it looks like February 3rd to the 18th, we have this Mars energy happening. And the Mars energy, and I'm not speaking to that right now because that's later. But we have, I'm going to talk about that later. But it looks like the 18th, yeah. Up until February 3rd until the 18th, excuse me. Looking at notes, y'all, there's a lot to be had here. And... we have Saturn kind of squishing in Venus in between the North Node, which is going backwards in Pisces, right? So we have this Saturn, which is the disciplinarian, sometimes restrictive, squishing a planet that wants to expand and let love rule. And then we have the North Node, which is our destiny, kind of pushing back a little bit. So I would not... let me say this again, would not necessarily, I would revisit love ventures and money ventures just a little bit. It's like the time to kind of revisit, revise, retouch anything that you think. Put your touches on it, go within a little bit. That's just what I'm also getting intuitively, collectively. And I hate to say collective because, you know what I'm saying, there's a lot of people in the world. But the energy for everybody on this planet. Then, and then we have this big shift, right? The North Node, which I said is like the direction our destiny is going, is what we really want individually in our natal astrology charts. And collectively, you want to look at where things are in your North Node in Pisces. So if we take a look at that Venus that's going to be in Pisces, it's also going to be sitting right next to the North Node. So it's like love could move into its divine direction if we revisit, revise, make sure no one has hidden motives, because Pisces has this Neptunian influence. Well, it's ruled by Neptune. And so there can be a lot of illusion around love at the same time. So just kind of monitor that until like February 3rd and always really. But, you know, just really, really go within, especially if there's some new love interest or something, and perhaps money. And the South Node, wherever your Virgo placements are in your natal chart, take a look. Like I have Virgo in the 12th house. I know. And south node. So that's the direction we've been before. If you believe in incarnations or in the past, that's the direction we've already done, right? In the south node. We all have different nodes. So for example, what I was born with, my north node is in Aquarius, my south node is in Leo. So the gifts that I came in with are the creativity, maybe being rich and famous, I don't know, but I've already been in the public before. I'm not saying that I'm not going to be in the public now. I know that energy very well in other incarnations or in the past. And moving forward, I want community, connection, justice for community. I may use the gifts of having all the creativity and stuff, but I'll move into this I'll really need, and that's my destiny direction. Spirit's already going like this. Community and connection is what's important. Why I'm going off on that, I do not know. It's not like y'all are really probably interested in what's happening with my personal nodes. But then we every year, these mathematical points in the chart shift again. Like last year we had Aries and Libra. Libra was in south node, the direction we've already been. Wherever that is in your chart, that energy is going to kind of like give lessons to that. Sometimes even challenge it. And wherever the north node is in your chart, the one moving over right now, which is Pisces, you want to look at that area in your chart because it's going to be really important to the direction you're going to want to go in. And stay away from patterns, places, things that may represent the way that you've already been in the way of Virgo, which is where it's at now. The south node is in Virgo. And then we have this really, really beautiful Jupiter in Gemini. So this could be a time, y'all, for a lot of people to really communicate. It's really, really important. And it's until February 4th. Jupiter in Gemini is for the writers out there, the screenplay writers, anybody that it's like expansion through communication. And we want to watch our words because we could be really wordy. As a matter of fact, I was meditating and I work a lot with like animal medicine, and you know, I have this thing I do, lots of things I do, but and I literally saw the symbol, which is the parrot. When I see parrot, my archetype or my symbolism is like, watch your words, make sure you watch your words. So which was a little too late in some ways, but it's an indication. Jupiter expansion, it wants to expand a lot of, think of just the keyword is a lot of it. In Gemini, which is communication. It's also curiosity though. So it's like some of this stuff is like salt and pepper, as I've said before. There are no bad signs, right? There's no bad signs. They all have the salt, right? And the pepper. And then we choose how much salt and pepper we want. If that makes any sense. I think it does. Makes sense to me. And then we've got this Mars is going into, Mars has been hitting Capricorn placements, and Capricorn has been hitting Mars placements. So we have Mars retrograde in Cancer. That's in its default. Mars, the planet of aggression. Think of your base chakra, your drive, sexual energy, and your passions. A lot of times your passions, it's not necessarily about love with the heart, but it's other places down below. And that energy is like our go-to. It's like our, it's basically how we can fight and express like a lot of base chakra energies, like sexuality, etc., etc. It can also mean war, Mars, depending on the placements, etc., etc. But it's also inspiration, because if we ain't got gumption, we ain't got go. So then we have the Mercury, the planet of communication, is going to be in Capricorn. So there might be some harsh words, and this is around the time of the inauguration. Not to bring that into it, but so there could be some cross words happening in the world. Also, though, watch how you speak. You want to filter what you say. You want to try to filter what you say. I just had a situation where I didn't necessarily not mean what I said, but I have Mercury in Sagittarius. Communicate like a Sag, no filter. And it's retrograde. I was born with it retrograde. So one, that makes me neurodivergent. not that it has to, that's just how it filtered in my life. And so I almost like think like kind of like backwards. That makes me a very tribal learner. I learn in a circle, not necessarily in a logical line. So I'm ADD and a little OCD at times, lots of pieces, right? But it makes me a really good reader. It makes me a super good intuitive because I'm watching the wind, the stars, this, that. It's a very different way of learning. But just so you'll know, and I keep telling the story today, there's some really beautiful stuff potentially happening with Saturn and, I'm sorry, not Saturn, with Venus. That's really, really sweet. But just watch until the 18th of January until February 3rd, like I said, because Saturn is kind of squished with the North Node in Pisces, the Venus energy, kind of squish it a little bit, squish it. So we could have breakthroughs, really. But there's a lot happening. January is very intense, lots of change. And I'm going to speak more to this in a little 1-minuter, or maybe even a long minuter. But we're moving into, I'm sure a lot of you know, the year of the snake. And it's the wood snake, so it's the element. And Chinese astrology, they don't just do like the symbols like you see on the menus. Like, you know, at some Chinese restaurants, it's like the animal. It has elements like everything, elements in nature and stuff. So this is the wood snake, and it's really a time to be reborn, y'all. It's also going to be a number 9 this year. So lots of closures, lots of reopenings, lots of the mystery. So buckle in, you grow or you go. And I will speak more on that later. Good to see y'all, and thanks for continuing to be a part of this journey with me. Peace.